Hi everyone. It's Tuesday, so it's time for Quick Tip Tuesday. Once again, I almost forgot it was Tuesday. I have a quick tip for IEP meetings, and this can work whether you are in person or whether you are virtual. One of the things I always recommend with IEP meetings is to have an agenda. And one of the issues with an agenda, and one of the reasons I like it, is it keeps everybody on task. It's very easy for IEP discussions to go awry over time, and you find that you're kind of off talking about things that aren't really what you intended. So, the great thing about this is that this is a parking lot. And so I use a parking lot in an IEP, particularly when I feel like it's important to get everybody on the same page and make sure that everybody is working on the same thing, talking about the same thing. So in a classroom or in a conference room, I can use a whiteboard and I'll make just Post-it notes, and I'll put the Post-it notes up on the whiteboard. And the reason that I like to do it that way instead of writing it out is that I really like the satisfaction of taking the Post-it note off and watching them disappear. And so I'll do it on a big whiteboard in a conference room if that's where we're having it. But if you are doing virtual IEPs, one of the things that I've done with my trainings recently is use a clipboard, or you can also use like a box top that you would use for independent work. This one is actually from a training that I did rather than an IEP. But the idea is that every time somebody wants to talk about something and we're not there on the agenda, putting it on a parking lot lets them know we haven't forgotten about it and that we're going to circle back. Now, sometimes if we have multiple IEP meetings with the same family, we may circle back at another time. Or we may reserve 15 minutes at the end of the meeting before we know everybody needs to leave and clear the parking lot before we go. So it's just a good way to let people know that their concerns will be heard, even if now is not quite the time to talk about it. So if a family member walks in and wants to talk about placement right off the bat, but we haven't written the goals and objectives yet as a team, then that's a really good example of something I would put in a parking lot. And I would say, I want to put it on there. I want to make sure we talk about it before we leave today, but that is not what we're here to talk about right now. If they want to come in and talk about something that happened yesterday in the classroom, that goes on the parking lot. That can be resolved after the IEP is over. So it's just a way to make it run more efficiently. I probably would use one that isn't quite so fancy as a clipboard because it's a little visually hard to discriminate. But the great thing is that when you're clearing the parking lot, you get to tear the Post-its off. And these were actually things that people had problems with data collection when I was doing a data training. So every time we collected it, I took it off. And then we could all visually see what was still there. So parking lots are a really good tool for IEPs. Thank you very much. I hope that I will see you again next Tuesday. Bye, guys.